how do you design a drone show? Like, what goes into putting all of this together?
Yeah, so honestly, it takes a lot of time to design a drone show. We're looking at about 80 to 100 hours. First off is a site survey. We go off of a grid launch, and for a grid launch, it's a very specific dimensions. Let's say you're doing 150 drones. Usually that would be about 10 by 15 meters. Each drone would have 1 square meter of space. So we need to go to a site, make sure that we can actually launch. And then we go through multiple storyboarding processes where we're just kind of brainstorming, figuring out what they want to see. And once that's finished, we go ahead and submit those storyboards to our 3D designers who on Blender will go and spend, some like 80 hours on there and just building a complete show from scratch. We're talking beautiful animations and RGB colors, so they're tweaking colors so to even they can match skin tones.
So when you design it from that standpoint, is a computer plotting the path of all of these drones, or does somebody have to go in there and like, this drone is going to go here, it's going to go here, it's going to go here, it's going to go here?
It's a completely hands-on process. It really is a person going and designing kind of maybe 3D models and placing drones at each spot. And it's a very substantial process because they have to also think about how fast the drones are moving, how far they are apart, making sure that's a safe distance. So these guys are spending, incredible amounts of hours. It's very artistic, but also a very technical job.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it definitely. I mean, if I was doing it, it definitely would be. But these guys, they're the best in the world at it, and they make magic happen. I mean, that's really the entire drone show process. It just feels like magic.
The drones themselves, like, is this the kind of thing that I can get at Best Buy, or are these very specialized?
So these are specialized drones. They're from our manufacturer. They're called they manufacture in South Korea. They're called Uvify. They're an American company, and they're a specialty drone. You got to go talk to Robert. He's our contact over there, and he'll get you the drones if you need them.
So how much is each one of these going to cost?
You're looking at around, I'd say, around 3K. So yeah. So if you're doing these big shows, you're racking up a significant cost.
I'm fascinated by the logistics of it because it's not just programming where all the drones are going to go, but like, how big are these? How do you get them all to the show? Like, the logistics of it is what.
Honestly, with when we started, that was something that we really had to figure out from the ground up. There's no like way to do it, like per se, where there's like, hey, it's a burgeoning industry, so we really had to figure out the logistical end. And we can't fly because we're transporting these drones with hundreds, sometimes thousands of batteries, and the crew flies oftentimes. So we'll have for a day of show we'll have 2 pilots and a crew of maybe around for the average show maybe around 4 people, and we're transporting sometimes during, like, let's say for the week of 4th of July, we're doing 20 shows.
Is there limits to the drones? Like, for most part, what can they do?
Yes, so for sure, yeah, for the most part, they can fly up to about 400 feet by the FAA. What's great about that, if you have a relationship with the FAA, we can fly higher than that. So the drones themselves, the limitations are mostly in flight time. You can keep adding drones as long as you have a large enough space to launch from. So you're looking around flight times around 12 to 14 minutes. I know the industry is looking to up that number. Our drones, we do anticipate in the near future to someday, fly up to maybe around 20 minutes or so. Other than that, it really is wind speed, weather. If it's raining, it's thundering, that can be an inclement, to the drones themselves and to the drone shows. So we usually don't fly in crazy bad weather.
Do they have, are they, okay, this one can flash blue, this one can flash red. Like, what are there in terms of like projecting? What can they do?
Yeah, so they are full RGB color. So one of my favorite designs we've ever done was, I'm in Minnesota and we love Prince here. So for a drone show last year for Burnsville, we did 1,000 drones and we did a portrait of Prince in the sky. And it's incredible because the RGB colors on our drones, I think that this is what makes them really special, is that they can do skin color accuracy. Like, that's how close those colors can get. So you can put faces in the sky, and we did 10,000 drones once too. So we did a bunch of different faces, 3D images, and you can get skin tone color accuracy on those drones. There's not really anything that we can't do. It's really what can you imagine, and we'll put it in the sky. And I know there's new technology that are coming to drones. We can launch fireworks off of drones, although our company has not done that personally yet. There's also lasers that are being attached to drones, and the industry really feels like it's so new that people are catching up to it. Where almost the ideas are just like people are like so new to it, where they're like, well, we can do anything with this. It's pretty much a hologram in the sky.
How often will one of the drones just not work in a show? I mean, if you've got 1,000 drones up there in this intricate design, is the show ruined if one or two of them don't work?
Yeah, honestly, if you're looking at 1,000 drones, like one or two not working will not really ruin the design. You will really still be able to see the outline if one or two move away. It really is kind of a percentage game where, if you have 150 drones and 10 fall out, and then you're kind of looking at, you won't be able to see as great of an image. But of course, if you're flying 1,000 and 10 go down, 15, 20, you still will get a great image. Now, of course, our failure rate is very low. These drones are bulletproof. They do a great job. They're kind of like the Toyota of drones. They'll keep on chugging along. Our failure rate is about 0.04%. So we for most shows, we're not even expecting a single fallout.
Your average drone show is going to have how many drones in it?
I'd say the average drone show has around, I'd say 200 to 250.
When you get more of them, are you just making the picture, so to speak, bigger, or can you make it more intricate?
So really, it's both. We can, depending on the site, that's kind of our constraint for how large we can go. But the adding more drones just means, like you said, it's more intricate. You get 3D designs. You can move drones to really, build out a hologram in the sky. So once you get to that 1,000 point, you're really doing full 3D images. You're doing globes. You're doing people's faces. So it gets to the point where you're looking up and you're like, man, I could not differentiate that from a 3D image or hologram.
When you're there, right? Like when you're kind of on the ground right next to it, does it look the same as what people see from the audience, so to speak?
Yeah, it's definitely distorted because what's incredible about the design as well is that it's oriented to the audience itself. So a lot of people think that, when they're seeing it, it looks like a screen, it looks straight on. But what the drones are actually doing is they're tipping like this and then orienting for the perfect viewpoint of a specific audience area. So when we're seeing it straight on top of us, we can kind of make out what it looks like, but we're more monitoring the stability of the drones themselves. So like the image kind of looks funky to me if, let's say, I'm a co-pilot, I'm looking up and I'm monitoring the stability for the pilot. It just looks like sometimes dots in the sky that are sort of resembling images, but it's definitely not as great of a view from as it is from the audience area.
Are you ready for some harder/listener submitted questions?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's make it happen.
Best place for an audience member to sit?
I'd say a rule of thumb is you want to be around 200 to 400 feet away from the show. That way you can get a great view, and then you want to be, of course, parallel with where the show is flying.
How fast can the drones get from one place to essentially to another? Like if you're trying to do an image here and do an image there, like how quickly can they kind of move around?
Our speeds are capped off at about 6 meters per second.
Like what would it look like if you were doing this in the day without the lights, just watching the drones kind of move around in these patterns?
You kind of just see a black dot. It looks like a mosquito out in the distance kind of moving around.
Are they kind of zipping all over the place, or are they just, goes up to this level, hovers over to the right, hovers over to the left? Or are they more like zipping all over the place?
I'd say they're moving very smoothly is maybe the best way I can explain it. Where it looks like very natural motion. It's not like some of these drones where you're seeing it like move just in space, like it's nothing. But it's a very smooth flight, and it feels like an animation.
Where is the industry kind of headed in the sense that like are companies just popping up all over the place, or are there just a few big players? Like what's kind of the status of the industry?
Yeah, as far as the industry, there are a couple good big players. In the US, I think it's something that a lot of people want to get into. So we're seeing new drone companies pop up all the time. But maybe as far as big players, you're looking at maybe two or three.
How many drones do you guys own overall?
Overall, I can't say the specific number. We kind of keep that under wraps, but you're looking at the range in the multiple thousands.
So this is 10,000 drones in the air.
This was an endeavor for sure. But beautiful to see.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So this is the record for the largest LED screen in the sky, and it shows multiple image of the different, incredible masterpieces throughout history.
Wait, so how are you doing that? The drones you're projecting onto something? Like, I don't even comprehend how that is happening.
So each of these drones is a pixel in the sky, and they're all kind of lined up in a line, and each of them is a specific color, kind of, and it to our eye, it's just like they all meld together as a pixel on a screen, and they're building these images.
To me, it's baffling in terms of like, but all of that comes together? Like somebody programmed all 10,000 of these things?
Yes, sir. It was an endeavor. It was quite the crunch to do it. We did it in about 3 months to this entire show came together, and I think you just saw a QR code pop up. We had the largest QR code in the sky too, and it's completely scannable too.
You can scan it from there?
You can scan it. Yeah, people on the ground can scan it. It's insane. If you see the entire portion, you can look down below the show, and there's this field with like that's lit up. That entire field was covered with drones, and we really set up an entire city to kind of run. Batteries were charging 24/7, and it was crazy.
What really impresses me about this is the waving, is how the flag is waving like it's in the air.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So the drones are just moving in that pattern.
Yep, they're just moving in that pattern. Each of them knows exactly where it needs to be to a centimeter level accuracy, where it's like, hey, you're going to be right here at this GPS location, and drone, you work as hard as possible to stay right here.
Is there a rivalry between fireworks show designers and drone show designers?
Honestly, I know this question comes up a lot, and I think the industries are people are trying to put us at a crossroads. But I kind of think of it as fireworks. They're this ancient technology, and they're incredible. People enjoy them, and then the drones are kind of this new thing. And I kind of think of it as like music and like television. As soon as we started having television, we still listen to music, even though that's probably the older thing to do. And it's not as maybe you can't do as many things. It's just an audio experience versus an audio visual experience. But I think that's kind of how drones and fireworks shows are, where I think there's people still want the boom, they want that feeling in their like chest of that loud crack in the sky. And drones are kind of the advent of this new technology that allows us to tell stories and visuals and bring people's imaginations to the sky, where that's kind of a limitless open area. So I think what we're looking for in the future is really the blending of the two together.
So if people want to find out more about your company, where can they find you? All that stuff.
Awesome. You can find us at lightupthesky.com, and same, ats for Instagram. We're also on YouTube. You can also look up Aerial Illuminations and get access to all our shows online as well.